Alright, YouTube and Fallout community. So today I just kind of wanted to do a discussion. I've been playing a lot of Witcher 3 recently, and it made me think about the choices we have in Fallout and kind of how they play out in the game versus like Witcher 3. Wanting more impactful choices in the Fallout games is a pretty common discussion amongst people of the Fallout community. We always constantly want, with every Fallout game, to have more impactful choices, choices that matter, choices that carry weight, anything like that at all. We always want that in every Fallout game. And so this is, I'm not the first person to really talk about this at all, but I may be one of the few people who've ever tried to compare it to maybe Witcher 3 or something. I'm not exactly sure. Witcher 3 is such a fantastic game, man. It's a one-of-a-kind game. It's for me personally, it's damn near a perfect game. There's very few games I've ever thought about that when I'm playing, but as I play more and more Witcher I've been playing it off and on for, about 2 years now almost. And I haven't actually completed the story yet, because there's that much shit to do in the game, that much side questing, and that much areas to explore and shit. So I'm really hoping that maybe Bethesda will look at Witcher 3 for the next Fallout game or the next Elder Scrolls game and try to make a world as elaborate as Witcher. But if you've actually played Witcher 3, and this may fall into Witcher 1 and 2, I'm not sure. I've actually not played those games. Witcher 3 is where I started the series. You know that there's constantly choices, and almost every time you talk to a character, there's almost always at least a good and a bad choice. Sometimes there's a third or fourth choice. And it changes the quest usually. It changes your reward for your, like if you go to Witcher, if you take like a Witcher contract to kill a monster, depending on how the quest plays out, you may or may not even get rewarded. Because you may find out that the creature you're hunting isn't actually a bad guy or anything like that, so you can choose to not kill them, you spare their life, but if you come back to the person that gave you the contract, they will not actually reward you because you did not fulfill the contract, so you get like minimal experience and maybe not even any gold or whatever it's called in the game, whatever the currency is. And I think that's pretty cool. They don't really have anything like that in Fallout. Some other examples of choices I've had in Witcher 3 is, it's like a random encounter, maybe a random quest. I came across a guy who was like tied up and there's nobody around, no bandits or anything. So I had the option of freeing him. So of course, I usually do a good guy playthrough of games. I freed the guy, he went on about his way. I maybe got a little bit of experience or gold or whatever. Later on in my playthrough, I came across the same guy, but he was with a group of other dudes who happened to be bandits. They had just ransacked like a caravan or something, just murdered the people and robbed all their supplies, and he was trying to pay me for saving him earlier in the game, and I had the option to accept it or to kill them because they're bad guys. And that's just one of those things that like Fallout doesn't have. Like if you go to like a location, most characters you come across in that location stay there. They don't ever really travel outside of like story-based quests and maybe some sort of like faction-based things. Characters never really, like, look at the characters inside Megaton. Outside of a select few, like, I think Lucy can move to Arafu if you save her brother and do the right dialogue choices. And, Jericho's a follower, so he'll come with you. But outside of those few characters, nobody ever leaves Megaton, right? And this is what I'm talking about right here. Like, I meet this guy over here on this map. I don't remember where I found him at. I come across him later on down the road, somewhere, not in the same area where I found him. And he turned out to be a bandit, killed all these people. He's a bad guy. I freed a bad guy, so that's where my choice kind of carries weight. People died at his hands, but I'm the one who freed him, so it's kind of my fault as well. And then I have the choice to either be a bad guy and accept his payment for saving him, or kill him and get the better experience out of the quest. And that's just the kind of shit that I would love to see in Fallout. Another example of choices carrying weight in Witcher 3 is I took a recent Witcher contract on my game, and you find out that you're getting booby-trapped, people are following you, they thought that they killed you, and you get to the end of it, and it turns out to be like 4 or 5 different I think it's 4 different monsters. Because usually you just hunt like one monster on a Witcher contract, but there's 4 of them at the end, and they're trying to kill you because you're a Witcher, and they didn't want you to kill them. You realize that 3 of them aren't bad, but one of them is. The werewolf was the bad guy. And during the dialogue and the talking, they're trying to convince the werewolf that you're not bad, and the werewolf is trying to convince them that you are, and you have to give them reasons why you're not bad, and it actually throws up a lot of options for dialogue for previous quests of where I had not killed a monster. Like I had saved like a rock golem, I had saved like a succubus, shit like this where I didn't actually kill the monster for the contract, and I was able to bring that up in dialogue so that all these monsters would attack me, and I just had to fight the one werewolf who was the bad guy anyway. And that's just those kind of things like that, like alluding to previous things I did in the game, quests I had forgot I even fucking did, and you don't really ever get that in the Fallout, as outside of like faction-based quests and storyline decisions. Nothing really carries weight. What you do over here in this set location doesn't really matter over here. Like, you don't really ever hear anybody, like, you don't hear any NPCs talking about some of the shit you did over there in X location. And a lot of times in Fallout, once you finish like a quest, the person that gave you that quest pretty much becomes like a nameless NPC. You try to address them like in conversation, and they just have like the one line of dialogue they say as they're walking around. They don't actually, it isn't actually like them stop and look at you and like y'all engage in dialogue. You have options. That's most of the time that's what happens at the end of a quest. So the NPC becomes like a nobody. They just become just a random character. They're no longer important, and that's something I'd like to see in the Fallout series. Because like here again, like I saved this bandit. Turns out, or I saved this person. Turns out he's a bandit. He just got done killing people and robbing people, and I get the option to save him or get or kill him or accept the payment. And that's something I'd like to see in Fallout, where like I want to save, like I want to get like a random encounter, like some slaves. You know, like for instance, there's like the slavers in Fallout 3 from Paradise Falls. So like, say there's a random slave around, he needs the brace off of his neck. I pick the lock or whatever, take it off his neck. Why not later on that NPC become somebody, like become a quest line? I found out that he's actually a bad guy as well, and a cannibal or something, and he's eating people in Megaton, and I get the option to kill him or let him go on about his way. Like something as simple as that adds to the immersion of a game, and this. It seems like Bethesda's always afraid to give us like heavy choices in a game or anything, or heavy consequences. Kind of like there's those random NPCs that you can't actually kill in for like Fallout 3 New Vegas, and maybe even 4. I'm actually not sure in 4 if there's like those NPCs that if you try to kill them they just get knocked unconscious or whatever. But like that's one of those things. Like, why can't I just kill everybody in the game outside of a select few like major characters to the story? I can understand not being able to die, but why is there these random ones that I can't kill? Another example of some choices that they could give us that would matter. We'll use Fallout 3 as an example again. If you remember, there's that town of cannibals. I believe it was called Andel. Once you find out their secret that they are cannibals, you get the choice of either letting them go on about their way, or you can kill like all the cannibals. You leave the old man alive and the kids alive. So why not, if I choose to let them live, sometime down the line in the game, they end up moving on to another major town near there and killing the people there and eating them. And then I get the choice again: do I let them go on about their way or do I kill them? Like something as simple as that. That would be fucking fun. Like it'd be cool to know, like, man, I let that town of cannibals live, but then they went on and they killed all these other people. So now I have to kill them. Like, or they're just gonna keep doing this. Like shit like that would be so fucking awesome in a Fallout game. I know it's kind of a weird video, guys. Like I just want to throw in some gameplay and just fucking talk about this. Like I said, I've been playing a lot of Witcher 3 recently, and I just realized, like, when you take a break from it and come back to it so often, like, and I've really been grinding on the game now to try to complete it. I just realized how much better of a game it is than Fallout 4, which hurts me to say, because Fallout 4 is a great game in a lot of ways. I know we all hate on it, we off and on, It's not the best Fallout game, whatever. Anyways, like, I realize now playing the shit out of Witcher 3, why it was Game of the Year, not Fallout 4. Like, it's a near perfect game. The world's huge. There's a lot of crafting you can do, a lot of leveling up and skills and options. And then there's the choices that actually fucking matter in the game, where like characters can live and die because of the choices you make and shit. And that's not really a thing that exists in Fallout. And I really hope that they take a major look at Fallout, or at Witcher 3 for the next like Fallout. Even Elder Scrolls. Again, this can always carry over to Elder Scrolls. I always use Fallout as an example because it's the series I prefer. But they're really in a lot of ways the same game. Because maybe the same studio, gameplay's the same, all that shit. So all these things could work for Elder Scrolls as well. Potentially Elder Scrolls 6. So anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts below. If you played Witcher 3, if you did you like the choices the game had? You like how in-depth the game was? The fact that you have impactful choices, which is something that it feels like we don't get a whole lot in games. Like Witcher 3 feels like one of the few games I've played where my choices actually fucking matter. Anyways, guys, if you want to enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you guys are new, follow me on Twitter. Links to my social networks are in the description. End of the outro. Later, guys.
Till it comes to conclusions, all the things that we thought we were losing. I'm a ghost and you know this. That's why we broke up in the first place. 'Cause I want you to know that